Rally Master Pro. In the old days, I played this game on a phone with Java support. And then it seemed very advanced among games of its genre, both in gameplay and graphics. Later, I bought a Symbian smartphone and there is a game with the same name for this OS. But it required a 3D accelerator and my smartphone did not have one. Now I can test the Symbian version and understand how it differs from its Java counterpart. And is it different at all? Let's start with Java. There are versions with different graphics for it. First, I will look at the simpler version. And then I will say a little about the more advanced version. To minimize the differences with Rally Master Pro for Symbian, I will use the touch version with a resolution of 640 by 360. I will play it on an Android smartphone using the J2ME Loader emulator. I do this in order to easily record video from the screen and not to irritate your eyes with the appearance of the phone itself. The game is in Russian, but the translation here is unofficial. Firstly, it is from the push-button version and in the instructions we are asked to press button 0, 5 and others. And secondly, there are fails like restart the game. In the career mode, there are 3 types of rally, differing in the type of difficulty. Their names are amateur, professional and expert. Each rally consists of 9 stages. In one race, in addition to you, 5 more opponents participate. In order to win, you need to get into the top 3 by the result of all races. After passing the track in the career mode, it becomes available in the time trial mode. Before the race, a route map is shown, demonstrating the start, finish, checkpoints and various turns. There is a certain weather on the track. It can be sunny, cloudy, rainy and thunderstorm. In thunderstorm or rainy weather, water drops appear on the screen. We could see something similar in GTA Vice City on PC. The road surface is asphalt, gravel or snow. The car's handling depends on the given surface. The surrounding world is quite monotonous. Basically, these are the same trees and houses. The car has damage that appears not only when colliding with something, but also when slightly leaving the track. Externally, they are displayed as dents or a fallen hood, for example. Also, the maximum speed of the car depends on the degree of damage. If you smash the car by 50%, then subsequent trips off the track will not cause damage to it. But in collisions, the value on the damage scale will continue to decrease, and if you smash it to 0%, you will have to start over. Vehicle repair is possible every 2 tracks. You can repair the car both independently using minigames and automatically using your work team. The game field displays the car's health and the time record for this track. The length of the tracks at the amateur and professional difficulty levels is from 4.24 to 5.13 kilometers. I can't say anything about the expert difficulty level because I haven't completed all the stages there. After the race, we are shown a replay of your gameplay, which in my opinion is pretty cool for a Java game. After completing the first rally, the adrenaline mode opens up and the ability to set weather conditions for each of the races in this mode and the time trial mode. By the way, a new rally in the adrenaline mode will open even if you take the last place. But a rally of a new difficulty in the career mode and a new car will be available only after you take one of the prize places. One new car opens after completing each rally. The number of cars in the game is 4 pieces. There is no tuning in the game. In the adrenaline mode, you need to get the least amount of damage per race. This result is shown at the end of the race. There are 3 types of minigames: tire service, pressure check and wiring repair. You can also play them from a separate item in the menu. Wiring repair is similar to the plumber game on PC. Tire service reminds me of the game Playman. And in pressure check you need to hold down the plus and buttons, just like in some games of the drag racing genre. There is a time limit in all 3 minigames. The more time you have left, the more % of car repair you will receive in the end. Also, repair percentages are awarded for mastery in these minigames. In a separate mode, minigames are not available immediately, but are gradually opened as you progress through the career. The graphics in the Java version are a bit pixelated and square, a la Minecraft. However, it is much better than most other games on the J2ME platform. It has settings. You can set the detail to low, medium or high, and turn on or off reflections and particle displays. By default, the graphics were set to medium settings, but for this video I cranked them up to maximum. There is a voice of the navigator, who announces to us about turns and further forks in the road. The car itself drives silently, but there are sounds during collisions. I don't know if there is a Java version for touch phones with ideal screen calibration. But mine is pretty sad. It's pretty inconvenient to navigate the menu here. You have to be a little perverted and tap at the top to move the cursor. It's also almost impossible to play the minigame wheel nut. You can't click on some elements of the field. Well, and I also couldn't find where to tap to make the car slow down. There is an assumption that the officially touch version with a resolution of 640 by 360 was never released and this is just a pirated modification of the push-button version. A Java version with improved graphics. Quite capricious and demanding. It didn't start on either Nokia C5 or Sony Ericsson P1 or on emulators on PC and Android on which I tried to test it. That's why I'm showing it where it feels like a fish in water on the Sony Ericsson K800i. I don't know how to record video from the screen on it. So I apologize for the fact that I'll be flickering my hands in the frame. It should be noted that in this version, unlike the previous one, there is animation of the movement of wind turbines. In addition, the quality of the vegetation behind the track has been improved. The models here are of higher quality and less angular. Some new objects have also appeared, for example, spectators behind the track. There were no problems with the controls here. Everything seems to be fine with this. But the frame rate on the device is a little lame. The game does not work as smoothly as I would like. Perhaps, of course, these are far from all the differences from the regular version, and if I missed something important, then write about it in the comments. In order not to repeat myself once again, I will focus on the differences. Although this is exactly the case when there are not so many differences despite the difference in the size of the game. This version is available not only for smartphones on Symbian 3, but also for devices on 9.4, which have a 3D accelerator. It is also interesting that the game is stretched to a resolution of 640 by 480. On the E6 smartphone, it works on the entire screen, except for some artifacts in the menu. I also showed this version, recording a video from the camera so that when shooting an image from the screen, a slideshow appeared. The game is also in Russian. But here is the original translation, and not a pirated one like in the Java version. The menu has a slightly different look and is more adapted to the touchscreen. The cars have logos of the Abyss engine on which the game is made, and its developer Fishlabs itself. They also have a link to the fishlabs.net website. The car windows are not tinted, like in the Java version, and there are 2 people in the cabin. The driver himself and, as I assume, the navigator, whose voice we can hear. For some reason I didn't hear any sounds during a collision, but the navigator's voice is much better quality than in the Java version. The soundtrack in the menu is also different. The tracks seem to be the same length in both versions, and there are no special differences in appearance either, except for better textures and an increased number of objects on Symbian. Unlike Java, there are many more objects here. We can see advertising banners, trees, mountains, vehicles, outbuildings, houses, mills, etc. You can also find people outside the track. And cows. There are no maps before the race like in Java. The time lag or advantage over the leader at a certain checkpoint is now shown below. The graphics in the Symbian version are much better than in Java. The drawing range has been improved. The background with the sky is much more beautiful. There are no graphic settings like in the J2ME version, but there are control settings. You can control either with the accelerometer, which is not in the Java version, or with on-screen buttons. Controlling the rotation of the device is, in principle, quite convenient. The car moves quite smoothly. In the same Asphalt 5, the control is implemented worse. Also, in this version, the names of the minigames are different. They are now called cable connection, wheel fastening nut, and air pressure. But these are, so, little things. A bug was found in the game wheel fastening nut, aka tire service. Sometimes the lines on the field move very slowly and simply do not reach the middle. Therefore, it is impossible to complete the game perfectly. I did not notice this in the Java versions. In the rally of the amateur and professional difficulty levels, I managed to win a prize place quite easily, but expert turned out to be very difficult. I tried to complete the first stage race several times, but I never made it into the top 3. As a racing fan, I really liked the game. And I enjoyed the first 2 rallies in the Symbian version, despite the fact that I played it for the first time 10 years after its release. This is the case when the version of the game for regular phones and for touchscreen smartphones has almost no serious differences. And in general, Rally Master Pro was much cooler than the various 2D asphalts that were mega popular. It is still a sports simulator, not a racing arcade.